Alright, welcome to round 3. Our hand is incredibly spell light, but we're on the play. We get to cast Saheeli right turn 2 on the blind. We get a lot of scries out of that. If our bird dies, though, we're in a ton of trouble. I should probably mulligan this one. This is a much looser hand than all of my other keeps, but it's just really hard for me to pass up a hand that starts exactly the way I want to start. Obviously, I'm depending on the top of my deck to be a little friendly to us. We might just flood super hard since we're already a little flooded. But just the idea of being able to go Saheeli on turn 2 is just very appealing. So it'd be good for me to fetch here, but I don't want to take necessarily extra damage. I might not be shocking off this. I guess I could just not shock off this, right? So let's just grab a stomping ground here. Or I guess a breeding pool since I have a red source in my hand. Blue, red. Get our scry on. So we could use that to get a 3-drop of some kind. Now Eldritch Evolution exiles itself upon resolution, so getting something like Eternal Witness is not very exciting. Maybe we could get Renegade Rally or get Bird back, which is basically just a free Renegade Rally, or we could get Kitchen Finks, Scavenging Use Voice Research. I mean, that's just terribly unexciting, and there are things that can go wrong, like if this dies in my opponent's next turn, although that's very unlikely against Temple Guard and Noble Hierarch. I think I'm going to... Gosh, am I really that greedy? Am I going to bottom this? I keep this hand and then I bottom a spell? Yeah, I just think the spell doesn't matter. Well... yeah, it just doesn't matter. Shoot. That feels probably incorrect, but I can't help it. I think that spell just doesn't matter enough. I'm not very excited to grab a 3-drop off my bird, and maybe that's a deck building issue, but I feel like Kitchen Finks is there to kind of be that. Maybe we could have something like a Tireless Tracker, for instance. That would be much more exciting, but this is a much better draw. We're very happy with that. So we'll lead on this. And looks like my opponent's just dead. So we can minus on a bird here. And I'm pretty glad I bottomed that, I guess. But it doesn't necessarily mean it was correct, but I am glad it happened. Alright. Well, we didn't get to see a lot of our opponent's deck. Hardly at all, in fact. Temple Garden, Noble Hierarch. And then just a 2-drop. I don't even remember what it was, to be honest with you. I apparently flushed that information from my mind as I was focusing on the other stuff. So I'm not sure how I want to sideboard here, but I feel like it involves a path. It could just be another Knight Company deck again. It feels kind of like it is. So I might hedge that way. Let's go path... Staticaster. Feels weird to put in Teague, but they could be like... gosh, I wish I could remember what their 2-drop is. I feel like an idiot, but... they could still kind of be like an Eldrazi deck. That seems less likely. Off of playing a 2-drop there. Or whatever they played. Just don't know why I can't remember now. We'll put in Teague. I'm just going to assume they're a Knightfall deck at this stage. But maybe I won't put in Linvala. Maybe that's too deep without knowing for sure. I mean, Teague feels pretty deep without knowing for sure. But if they're a Noble Hierarch deck, they probably want. Then Teague's probably annoying for them. So I think I'll go Staticaster Teague Path, just off of the knowledge that they're a Noble Hierarch deck, and maybe cut. Just like nothing I want to cut in these spots. I'll shave down to 1 evolution to hedge against the Queller Menace, since that's just very bad, since sacrifice is part of the cost. And then I'll just shave a Renegade Rallier again. Poor second Renegade Rallier. Often gets shaved. Yeah, this looks good. We have not had to mulligan terribly often today, which is good. I say that now, and I'm probably going to have to mulligan all the time. Probably cursed myself, but I'm not very superstitious, so we'll be fine. Let's go with, I guess I sided in Staticaster though, right? So maybe Breeding Pool. Breeding Pool into Noble Hierarch. Although, not Breeding Pool, sorry. I have a Noble Hierarch. I should get a Stomping Ground, my mistake. For some reason I was thinking about Oath of Nissa, but yeah, we've got Staticaster in the deck. Nothing else that's color intensive when we also have an Oath. So we're going to get red into this Noble Hierarch, and if the Noble Hierarch continues to live, then we basically have all of our mana fixed forever. We can cast basically all of our spells. And then next turn we have some options depending on how we want to utilize our Scatter Groves, which we've been seeing a lot of these past few games, maybe to remind me that it's just worse than a Horizon Canopy. But I guess to expand on that a little bit, if you wanted to play a Horizon Canopy, but you're like, well, I really don't want it to be green-white, I want it to be some other colors, I think it would be fine to play one of these cycle lands in that spot, because there are spots where this is actually better, and there are often spots where it is the same. However, if you're playing it as a green-white land, like as a Scattered Groves, you should probably just be playing Horizon Canopy. But like I said, that said, if you're like, I want to play Horizon Canopy, but I need it to be green-red, then I think playing a Sheltered Thicket is very reasonable. Okay, so opponent has a Tireless Tracker. That's what they played last game. See, if only I was streaming and had a chat, they would have told me, and it could have been, could have felt like, I guess I could have had the feeling of feeling like an idiot past sooner. But anyway, yeah, this is what they played. Good old brains. Okay, so what do I want to do here? I feel pretty comfortable going Oath plus something and leaving the Scatter Groves in my hand, especially because I can get the land off the Oath. Although I'd really want to find a Saheeli if I had it. So maybe I lead on something like Voice of Resurgence. No, there's no reason to lead on that if I'm going to lead on that. If I'm going to lead on Oath, or excuse me, if I'm going to play Wall this turn, it makes sense to lead on Wall. But if I'm going to play Voice, I might as well lead on Oath. And I think I would rather play Voice, because the Wall can get outclassed by this. Maybe that's okay, though, because then I'm making my opponent spend their mana on their turn. So yeah, actually, I'm going to lead on the Wall. And then we'll get to reevaluate on how we want to use our lands if we draw like another land here, another spell. Okay, so we drew another land, so now I feel even more comfortable, obviously, just playing this and playing Oath. Would love to find a Saheeli Rai. I think I'll take the Wall of Omens over the Temple Garden here. Wish I could take that path, of course, but rules of the game and whatnot. Alright, Spawn is a fetch land. That's pretty good. They'll get a couple clues. I will block if and when they attack. It's pretty free attack, so I imagine they do. Okay, they just sack the clue right away, so maybe I don't block. Yeah, I guess if they sack the clue right away, I don't block. I wonder if they really, really wanted an additional land. But that would be weird, because if they wanted an additional land, they would have a lot of spells in their hand, would likely have something they prefer to do other than just sack a clue in their main phase, so maybe they're really land heavy. But then why wouldn't they fetch first? I'm not sure what that tells us about their hand. I'm going to take the 5 here because this is liable to only get bigger over time. So a chunk block later is better than a chunk block now. But it didn't sack the clue in response. So they may have some interaction for our turn. I still think it's wise for me to take this opportunity to play Felidar Guardian, Blink Oath. It's particularly mana efficient, and it helps me dig towards Saheeli. If I find a Renegade Rallier, I guess that doesn't do much for me here. I only have 1 Oath. They have a Unified Will. Disdainful Stroke. Wow. That is interesting. Okay. I was not expecting that. Unified Will, of course, would not have worked since I didn't chump block, but Disdainful Stroke. Well, I do not have another Felidar Guardian, so now we're just at the mercy of this Tireless Tracker. We're very, very behind. I think I block here, since I'm going to have a lot more. Oops, okay, just pass this right to me. And I would have found that Saheeli Rai. How unfortunate. Let's lead on Voice here. Okay, yeah, I feel very bad about the way this game is going if my opponent's able to company here. But I suppose I could just happen into the combo and still be good to go. Especially with a voice in play, my opponent's heavily incentivized to not act on my turn. So if they have stuff like company, they may use it on their own turn. So I guess it's not all bad. We have a path to victory. It's just not we're not favored by any means. Make sure we don't have any yields here. That actually hurts more than it might appear. Returning this to our hand just, makes our mana so much worse here. And another Tireless Striker was also quite good. Kitchen Finks just blocks so much better. Kitchen Finks here. I want to play Wall to Dig, but I'm pretty concerned about the way this game is going now, even more so than before, because losing that Noble Hierarch's mana makes us even farther away from being able to have Felidar plus Saheeli in the same turn. Although if we can live like this turn and live through the next turn, I guess we have a shot, which doesn't seem particularly unreasonable unless our opponent produces like a Kessig or something of the sort. What is our basic suite nowadays? I've changed that so much. So we're on 3 forests, 1 plains. Okay. So if our opponent elects to like try and put us off of red, we actively don't care about that unless we're trying to cast Staticaster, I suppose. So I wonder if this is just a Bant company deck that isn't bothering to be splashing red. I don't know. It's got to be at least very close to the same deck. Wow. Okay, well this game is over then, right? They can just go up to, see, 7, 9, 11, 13. Yeah. We're actually just dead. That's pretty good. And exactly enough mana too. Alright, well game 3 it is. Looks like we may be struggling a little bit with this matchup. So I could put the Baloth in. Maybe I'm undervaluing. Also, we didn't put the Linvala in. I imagine my opponent has to have Knight of the Reliquary in their deck. So maybe I'm interested in both of these at the expense of what, though? At the expense of a Scavenging Ooze? I mean, it's pretty mana intensive in these games. You're often trying to use all of your mana for other things. So maybe we're on this plan. I really wouldn't. Maybe that's not the average game. Again, I'm worried about siding in Baloth and then just dying to flyers. I feel like on average the Baloth isn't going to be good enough, but that game it would have been outstandingly good. I think I'm still not going to put it in. I have Kitchen Finks and Thragtusk. And I'm already not feeling good about taking that Ooze out, so. This looks like a solid mulligan. We do have paths to slow our opponent down, so maybe it's greedy to mulligan this one, but it just doesn't do anything. This hand looks much better. It looks at a lot of cards and has a Noble Hierarch on 1. I'm going to shuffle that away, so it just doesn't really matter. It's not like worth not playing my Noble Hierarch on turn 1, for instance. Though you can make an argument if the card was particularly good, playing Scattergroves could be worth it. I'm gonna get the green source here since I mean a red source here since I have the Noble Hierarch. And that should fix my mana. It also has a noble, and we have another noble. So I guess instead of Wall here, I'm going to Oath of Nissa. I'm pretty sure I grabbed the Staticaster, although here it is incredibly awkward. Obviously, I'm not going to be killing Noble Hierarchs with it anytime soon. But I think it's more important than the breeding pool. There's a lot I would take over the Staticaster here, but especially like a Renegade Rallier would have been outstanding there. Since next turn we could play Oath of Nissa, sack 1, which would trigger Revolt, play Renegade Rallier, get another Oath of Nissa, and just kind of get to look at a lot of cards that way. I should be keeping better track of what I have in the bottom of my library, which I typically do, paying a little less attention to it while we've been talking about other stuff, but I guess we just bottomed what? A Breeding Pool and an Evolution, was it? I believe. Alright, Linvala is a pretty good draw here, since this Knight is going to be an issue, but even as a 4/4, it's already just a problem. I wonder if I should just let them have a Knight activation for a turn and try to develop instead. Yeah, I think I should. I think taking the turn off to Linvala is kind of a bummer, and I don't think they're going to benefit that much out of having this one turn. Yeah, I definitely would like a Renegade Rallier, please. So Evolution and Forest on the bottom, in addition to another... Wait, it can't be 2 Evolutions. It must be something else. In addition to Breeding Pool, something that I've forgotten. Path, was it maybe? I felt like it was a spell. It was definitely something I couldn't take. Fancy. Well, I think I'm going to take the land over these. I don't particularly like putting Sun Titan and Saheeli on the bottom, but don't really have a lot to benefit off of these, and I haven't made my land drop for the turn, so we'll take plains. So now I have like land, Saheeli, Sun Titan, spell on the bottom of my library, something like that. I think I'm forgetting one card, obviously. That was only 5 cards. Maybe I should have just slammed Linvala that turn, because I actually can race then. I mean, I have the 2 Noble Hierarchs. I'm getting in for 5 in the air. I don't know, perhaps a mistake. And my opponent could benefit off of the Knight activation this turn. Oh, they just have another Knight. And another Noble Hierarch. So I'll wait to chump block. Oh, they don't. They're going to activate. Okay. Yeah, this game is getting out of hand for me very quickly, with my opponent having double Knight. Whoa. Gonna fall right out of my chair, apparently. I mean, going like wall voice here is just not good. I feel like I have to Linvala, but then am I even winning this game? I mean, I guess I'm gonna have a lot of chump blockers. Maybe I should have tapped it like this to sell the path more. I don't know. Could have like left Scattered Groves untapped instead of Noble Hierarch, but I don't think there's any real reason to do that. Yeah, opponent getting to grab an extra fetch line here means these are going to be 6/6s instead of 4/4s, so kind of punished for not playing Linvala. Like, I got to do some sweet stuff, but I don't know. Probably was not worth it. Just a pair of 6/6s that I'm gonna have to chump block for all of eternity. Wow, do they just have path also? Yeah, that's a disaster. Man, both of these matches, we've just had 2 games of us getting walloped by lots of paths and lots of knights. I guess Trekkers last time. So now we really just have to draw like Felidar Guardian and Saheeli Rai. I mean, we're not winning the fair game. I just have to stall until then. And Wall of Omens and Voice Resurgence can do a decent job of stalling until then, but losing that Linvala is basically just a huge nightmare there. We are in a ton of trouble. I think I actually have to start chump blocking when they just don't have Casig. Like, yes, these are going to get bigger over time, but I think I need to keep my life total relatively high while chump blocking is still chump blocking. It's possible they don't have the red splash for Casig, though, I guess. In theory. Opponent was able to commit 2 more creatures to the board, so this looks pretty bad for me. They also did not make their land drop, which indicates they may have an additional spell. We see a lot of garbage here. I guess bird is better. It can chump block. I feel like I want to go voice bird here, but maybe Staticaster kill Selfless Spirit is better. Well, there's a path. Pathing one of those noble hierarch, or excuse me, one of those Knight of the Reliquaries seems like could be a big game for us. So why don't we play this? Path one of these. It's unfortunate I'm giving my opponent the mana, but they don't have that many cards left anyway. Oh, they with Scavenging Ooze. I missed it for a moment what they had done. Just ate a Renegade Rallier with Scavenging Ooze. No big deal. Currently no creatures in the yard, so my blocks are just not bad. If my opponent wants to attack with multiple things, I get to put Voice on Knight and Wall on Ooze. If they attack with one thing, I just block with Voice. Alright, looks like they may be setting up for something like Casig or even Gavany. Sure. Not much I can do about that, unfortunately. Alright, 5 in the air. So we're dead next turn, but I have this bird. They do have the red splash. I'm surprised they didn't go for Casig. Alright, we found another land. Unfortunately, that's not very good for us. And now Staticaster's also not good at killing the Selfless Spirit, so kind of bitten for not taking that line as well. I guess we play this here. So at this point, I basically have to draw Felidar Guardian into Blink, Oath of Nissa, Saheeli Evolution. I guess now they can also produce Casig and kill me, right? Now that they've played their red source. So yeah, I'm just dead. Assuming they do it and have it, which if they've shown me Stomping Ground, I can't imagine they don't have it. Kind of flooded here a little bit, but we really just got destroyed by our opponent having multiple paths early, and or did they just have the one? I guess they just had the one. She got destroyed by the path and the multiple knights. I guess that's what I was thinking. But there are a couple lines we could have taken differently. If I had played that Linvala up front, we would have been better off for sure. So I guess it got pathed anyway, so maybe it wouldn't have mattered, but it seemingly would have been a better play anyway. Yep, opponent just goes all in on that, and we're going to take Exaxes. Or no, we're not, because there's Noble Hierarch's going to go to -3, but either way, I am dead, unfortunately. And we'll see you in round 3.